Hi! Welcome to another video discussion on data analytics. This is Miss Rena, and we are now in module number 7. We are going to talk about the range, the standard deviation, and coefficient of variation. So this module will discuss the different approaches in finding the measures of dispersion of a given dataset. So ito pong range, standard deviation, and coefficient of variation are the measures of dispersion. Okay. So, katulad po ng lagi natin ginagawa, for the learning outcomes, you have plenty of time to read this on your own. So, kapag ka po may free time kayo, pakibasa na lang po. Let's proceed with the learning guide questions. So, for the learning guide questions, we have 3. Please prepare. Baka kayo po yung matawag. So, dapat alam nyo yung sagot dito sa tatlong tanong na to. First, what is a measure of dispersion? Next, what are the different methods of finding the measures of dispersion? And finally, meron po akong binigay na choices dito sa pangatlong tanong. In terms of computed value, which measure of dispersion is more consistent? The choices are A, lower computed value of the measure of dispersion, or B, higher computed value of the measure of dispersion. Okay, now let's continue with the lecture. For the introduction in statistics, to describe the data set accurately, statisticians must know more than the measures of central tendency. So, hindi po enough na alam lang natin kung ano ang mean, median, or mode. If you still remember, we have one question dun sa measures of dispersion before. Nagkaroon tayo ng activity wherein we have to find the average grade of 2 different students. Tapos nag-arrive sila with the same mean or average. So, paano natin malalaman kung sino yung deserving to get the first honor sa kanilang dalawa? So, yung problem na yun, it can be solved by finding the measure of dispersion. So, malalaman natin kung sino yung mas consistent dun sa dalawang student by finding the measures of dispersion. Okay, so ano ba ang measures of dispersion? So, it measures the extent to which a given data set is spread out around the center, and it gives an idea on how sparse or squeezed a data set is. So, if a data set has a large computed measure of dispersion, the data is widely scattered around the center. Otherwise, it is tightly clustered. And the lower the measure of dispersion is, the more consistent your data set is. Okay. So, dito po, sa 4 na bulleted sentences natin, dapat alam nyo na po yung sagot sa learning guide questions number 1 and number 3. And then, ito po yung sagot sa learning guide question number 2. The different measures of dispersions are as follows. We have the range, the standard deviation, and the coefficient of variation. So, you have to take note that there are other means of finding the measure of dispersion. For example, yung variance. But we will only focus on these 3. Range, standard deviation, and coefficient of variation. So, start na po tayo. Paano natin kukunin si range? So, si range, it is defined as the difference between the maximum value and the minimum value. Noong nag-discuss tayo ng RFDT, FDT, kumuha na rin tayo ng range nung mga panahong yon. Naghanap na rin tayo ng maximum value at saka minimum value at saka yung difference nila. Now, ano yung advantage ng pagkuha ng range? Kasi iyan yung pinakamadaling i-compute kung magmamano-mano kayo. Kasi visually, tingnan nyo lang kung ano ang maximum value, tingnan nyo kung ano ang minimum value, i-subtract nyo lang sila sa isa't isa. Now, ano yung disadvantage? It is very sensitive to outliers. Paano kung meron kang super laking value? So, madidistort yung range mo or yung data set mo. It will give you a wrong idea on how your data set behaves. Now, since lagi tayong instant, ayoko kayong nahihirapan, we are going to make use of Google Sheet. Or kung gusto nyo, pwede rin kayong gumamit ng Excel or any other spreadsheet. Pare-parehas lang naman yung formula na ginagamit natin dyan. Step 1, you will encode your dataset. Step 2, choose a cell where you want to place the range. And step 3, we will make use of the maximum and minimum value formula. So in the given example, the data values are in B2 to B16. So ano yung sinasabi dito in given example? Again, gagamitin po natin sa BSTM and BSHM sample data sheet for health protocols and dining patterns. So ito po yung data natin for the age. Ayan, meron tayong 15 respondents. The ages are 29, 30, 29, 24, up to 29 ulit. And now, to find the range, ganito lang po yung gagawin natin. We have to choose a cell in which we are going to input our formula. So, dito po, gusto ko siya ilagay sa B17. Ang susunod po nating step, just input the formula for the maximum value and input the formula for the minimum value. Ang atin pong formula for the maximum, lagay ko siya dito ha, para nasusundan nyo siya ng maayos. And minimum are as follows. So, kapag ka po maximum equals max, yan lang po yun, equals max. And then just write open parenthesis and then select your observations. Ayan, meron tayong max B2 to B16. Kung minimum naman yung gusto nating makuha, ayan, ang pinakamatanda sa observation natin is 35. Kung minimum naman, so equals mean, and then select your observation. So that is equal mean B2 to B16. So yung iba po na gustong ganito yung sundan, pwede naman na to get the range, just subtract the minimum from the maximum. So that is F1 minus F2. Pero dun sa module nyo po, ganito yung ginawa ko. Isa na lang siya para hindi complicated na ganito na maraming nakasulat. So, ang nilagay ko na lang po ay equal max, open parenthesis, from the first observation B2 hanggang sa last observation B16. Ayan. So, equal max B2 colon B16 minus mean, open parenthesis, B2 to B16 ulit. Ayan. Ito po yung nakasulat sa module nyo. Equal max B2 colon B16 minus mean B2 colon B16 and then close parenthesis. Just hit enter. You will end up with, sorry, naka-percent pala to. Tanggalin natin siya sa pagiging percent. Yan. So, the range is 11. Yan, 11 lang. Kayo po yung bahala kung ano yung gusto nyong gamitin. If you want to use this method, yung kukunin muna ang maximum, minimum, and then isusubtract. Although mas matrabaho siya, meron naman kayong marker. Or yung ganito, medyo mas complicated siya, pero at least isang cell lang yung gagamitin nyo. Yan. Okay, so now we're done with the range. We still have 2 more to go. Punta po tayo sa standard deviation. Ano naman ang standard deviation? Ayoko kayo nahihirapan, so mag-e-excel tayo. Pero kung gusto nyo po na magmano-mano, given kayo with the 2 formulas for the sample and for the population. Magkaiba po yung formula niyan ha, pagka population po yung pinanggalingan ng data at kapag ka sample yung pinanggalingan ng data. So, ano ang standard deviation? So, obviously, it is a measure of dispersion. And it measures the average deviation or departure of the individual scores from the mean. Ano ang kanyang disadvantage? Inuna ko talaga yung disadvantage, di ba? It is more difficult to calculate. Ayan. Mas mahirap siyang imano-mano. Pero kung meron naman kayong Google Sheet at saka Excel, o kaya ibang spreadsheet, madali lang tong i-compute. Ano naman ang advantage niya? So, it is not as affected by outliers as the range. It gives a more accurate picture of how the data is distributed. Okay? Okay. Now, how are we going to use the Google Sheet or Excel to find the standard deviation? So, you have to take note that in the example, the given data was derived from a sample. Hence, we will use the formula for sample standard deviation, that is stdev.s. Pero kung galing po sa population, yung dataset nyo, you are going to use this instead. Equal stdev.p. Okay? Okay. Pinasimple na lang natin, 3 steps lang ulit. So, parehas lang po yung step 1 and step 2 dun sa ginawa natin sa range. Just encode your data and choose a cell where you want to place the standard deviation. Hindi po tayo magpapalit ng observation, yung age pa rin po ang kukunan natin ng standard deviation. Burahin ko lang yung mga nakalagay dito para malinis siya. Okay, lagay natin dito sa B17 si standard deviation. So this is the standard deviation for this sample. Just input equal and then stdev. Meron po kayong mga choices dyan. Ayan. Ang hahanapin natin na ito, stdev.s. This is for the sample. stdev.s. And then open parenthesis. Just choose the first observation up to the last. So that is B2 colon B16. And then just hit enter. You are going to arrive with 2.840187787. Okay? Okay. Now, magbibigay pa ako ng isang example. Yung sinabi ko kanina na problema natin before from the mean. Yung first honor and second honors. First honor and second honor na nag-tie. Hahanap tayo kung sino yung mapupunta sa first honor spot. Just give me a moment. I will just retrieve the module kung saan siya nakalagay. Okay, ito po yung module natin for the measures of central tendency. Ito po yung module number 5. So, given in the table below are the grades of 2 students competing for the first honor rank. Find their averages and decide on who should earn the first honor spot. Ginawa na natin to before and we found out that they have the same average, right? So, just give me a moment para ma-review natin siya. Kakopy ko lang siya dun sa spreadsheet natin. Ayan. So, lagay natin dito si student A, tapos dito si student B. And then the subjects are as follows: English, Science, Math, Filipino, and Soksai, and Social Studies. The grades are as follows: 94, 93, 95, 89, and 95. And for student B, we have 96, 90, 97, 89, and 94. For their average, di ba ganun pag naghahanap tayo ng honor, tinitingnan natin yung jiwa o kaya yung average. So, equal, yan, nakasuggest na kaagad, average E2 to E6. So, si student A ay may 93.2 na grade. Dito sa kabila, 93.2 rin. So, hindi tayo makakapili ng first honor if we are going to base it solely on the average, right? So, para po makapili tayo ng honor, tingnan natin kung sino yung mas consistent. Di ba sabi natin kanina, mas consistent yung mas mababa ang standard deviation. So, compute natin kung sino yung may mas mababang standard deviation. In this case, dito lang manggagaling yung grade nila sa 5 subject. So, we can consider this as a population na rin. Kasi hindi nakasama yung ibang subjects. Hypothetical lang to, halimbawa dun sa school nila, 5 lang talaga yung ino-offer na subject. So, ito lang. So, we are going to consider this as a problem na kailangan ng standard deviation for population. Again, ito po ay hypothetical. Baka po magtaka yung iba dyan. Para lang mapakita ko sa inyo kung paano mag-compute using the formula for standard deviation for the population. So, we are going to use stdev.p naman kung ang kailangan natin ay yung galing sa entire population. So, open parenthesis, iselect natin yung 5 subjects. So, 94, 93, 95, 89, and 95. So, we have stdev.p E2:E6 and then close parenthesis. Hit enter. Ayan. So, ang standard deviation po ni student A is 2.22. So, we can assume that from the center 93.2, nagda-deviate siya by 2.2 points or 2.22 points. 2.23 kung ira-round up natin. Paano naman si student B? Tingnan natin kung mas consistent ba siya or less consistent than student A. So, using the same formula, kung gusto niya naman, pwede namang copy-paste na lang po. Ito, pakita ko ha. So, copy natin siya and then paste natin siya dito. Yan. So, that is 3.19 or 3.187 or 3.2. Yan. Mas malaki siya. Para po dun sa mga magmamano-mano na hindi nakasunod kanina. So, equal stdev.p. Select yung first observation up to the last. So, F2 to F6. And then, close parenthesis. Ayan po. 3.18747549 or simply 3.19 or pwede rin namang 3.2. Compare natin tong dalawa. Alin ang mas malaki ang standard deviation at alin ang mas maliit? So, mas maliit ang standard deviation ni student A. Si student B, mas malaki. Ano ang ibig sabihin? Which student is more consistent? Sino yung mas dikit-dikit ang grade? Sino yung mas consistent na matataas ang grade? Si student A ba or si student B? What is your answer? So, the answer is student A. So, si student A, he is more deserving of the first honor spot. Kasi mas consistent siya kay student B. Napaswerte lang siguro si student B kasi may mataas na score sa kanya, dalawa, 96 and 97. But, in comparison with student A, mas dikit-dikit yung grades niya. Mas consistent yung performance niya. Okay, I hope I was able to make that clear. Kasi, magmo-move na po tayo dun sa last na measure of dispersion natin, which is the coefficient of variation. So, meron po siyang alias. This is also known as the relative standard deviation. So, it is commonly used to calculate or compare the dispersion between two variables with different measures or different units of measurement. For example, ang gusto mong i-compare ay height in inches, saka weight in kilograms. If you're going to make use of the range and the standard deviation, mahirap mag-decide kung ano ang mas consistent. Hindi mo siya basta ibe-based lang sa kung sino mas mataas at saka kung sino mas mababa. Kasi magkaiba sila ng unit of measurement. One is in length and the other one is in mass or bigat. Diba? So, ang solution po natin dyan ay kumuha ng coefficient of variation. This is in a form of a percentage. So, kapag ka po population, you are going to base it on stdev.p. Ito po yung symbol niya. Over the population mean. Pero kung sample naman, you are going to make use of stdev.s over the sample mean. And then just multiply it by 100%. Again, ayoko kayo nahihirapan. So, we are going to make use of Google Sheet or Excel. Same lang po yung ating steps 1 and 2 dun sa mga naunang dalawa na measures of standard deviation and range. We have to encode the data set and choose a cell where you want to place the coefficient of variation. Okay, let's go back to our data sheet. Burahin ko na muna to para malinis yung spreadsheet natin. Ayan. Delete natin siya. This is the coefficient of variation. Okay, sabi natin for comparison siya ng dalawang variable na hindi magkaparehas ng unit of measurement. So, hanap tayo dun sa data sheet natin ng isa pa na pwede natin gamitin. So, si age, measure siya ng edad. Ito naman, measure ng pera. So, monthly income. Gamitin natin siya. Copy. And then paste. Ito po yung nandun sa example sa module nyo ha. Age and monthly income. So, tingnan natin kung saan mas nagkakaiba-ibang category yung mga respondents. Sa age ba sila mas nagkakaiba-iba o sa monthly income? Okay, let's check. So, on your module, meron po tayo ulit dalawang formula na gagamitin. Una ay yung stdev.s. Ayan, standard deviation for the sample. And next, we have the average. So, ang formula po natin for stdev.s, ito po muna ay para sa age, are as follows. So, we have stdev.s, open parenthesis, select the first observation up to the last. So, you are going to end up with stdev.s, open parenthesis, b2, colon, b16. And then, close nyo lang ulit siya ng isa pang parenthesis. Then, hit enter. You will end up with 2.8401877. Ayan. So, dito naman po sa average, so, kukunin naman po natin yung average. Ayan. Average ng unang observation, 29, hanggang dun sa pang 15 na observation, 29 ulit. So, average, open parenthesis, B2, colon, B16. Tapos, i-enclose ulit natin siya ng isa pang parenthesis. Then, hit enter. Ngayon, ano po ang coefficient of variation? Ang coefficient of, or CV na lang, para madali yan. Coefficient of variation po ay equal sa quotient nitong dalawa. So, stdev.s over average. So, that is F2 over F3. And then, just click enter. Ang gusto po natin ay ilagay ito in form of percentage. So, kung nakikita po ito, format as percent, click nyo lang po yan, you will end up with 9.70. This is a different approach from your module. Kasi ang ginawa ko sa module nyo, isang diretso yung formula. Yun yung susunod natin na itetest. So, paano kung gusto mo, isang diretso lang yung formula? Hindi katulad nito na ang dami-daming ine-encode. So, dito po, we have to input equal, and then stdev.s, open parenthesis, ayan, from 29, B2, up to the last observation, B16. And then, close parenthesis. After this, yung symbol po natin for division, yung forward slash. And then, average. Average, open parenthesis, first observation, B2, hanggang sa last observation, B16. Ayan. And then, enclose po ulit natin siya with another parenthesis. Click enter. You will end up with, ayan, parehas lang, di ba? 0.097045 and so on. Same lang po, ifo-format natin siya as percent, so just click this symbol dun sa ribbon natin for formatting. Format as percent, we have 9.70%. So, sa monthly income, pwede po natin i-copy-paste na lang siya. Copy, and then paste. We have 32.87. But, If you want to do it manually, kung gusto nyo i-input yung formula manually, ganito po yung gagawin nyo. Equal stdev.s, open parenthesis, from 30,000 to 26,000. So, C2 colon C16. Forward slash, average, open parenthesis, from the first observation, C2, hanggang sa last observation, C16. And then, close nyo lang po ulit siya. Tapos, press enter. Yan. Just hit enter. Kung hindi pa po ito naka-format as percent, halimbawa, nakaganito siya, automatic, 0.328744212. Ito lang po ulit yung i-click nyo, format as percent. Now, which variable is more consistent? So, saan mas nagkakapare-parehas yung mga respondents natin? Sa age ba or sa monthly income? Alin yung mas mababa ang dispersion or mas bababa yung pagkakaiba-iba? Siyempre, sa age. Kasi sobrang malaki yung difference nila from one another when you consider their monthly income. Ibig sabihin, may mga respondents na sobrang mababa yung monthly income at may mga respondents naman na sobrang mataas. Wherein sa age, hindi masyado nagkakalayo-layo yung edad nila. Okay? So that is the essence of finding the measures of dispersion. You will have an idea on which categories these respondents differ from one another. Or kung meron ka namang same na unit, makikita mo kung sino yung mas consistent compared sa versus one another. Katulad nung sa honor roll natin kanina. Okay? Okay. So, since nagdi-discuss ako ng gagawin sa engaging activity at performance task live during discussions, tapos hindi siya nasusundan ng mga modular, kasi hindi naman sila ma-attend ng video discussion, at saka yung mga absent, hindi rin nila nakikita yung explanation ko for engaging activity and performance tasks. So, explain na rin natin yung gagawin nyo po. Ganito po yung gagawin nyo. For engaging activity, this is 5 points each. Individual po. Using the data on health protocols and dining patterns, find the standard deviation of monthly expenditure. So, i-extend nyo lang po itong solution natin dito. All you have to do is to copy the monthly expenditure and then paste it on one tab. Tapos, i-compute nyo po kung ano ang standard deviation ni monthly expenditure. Okay? Next, i-compare mo yung standard deviation ng monthly income sa monthly expenditure. Na laman na po natin yung standard deviation ng monthly income earlier from our module. Asan ba yan? Balikan natin, ha? Eto. Ay, hindi pala nalaman. Sorry, hindi pala nalaman. Hindi ko pala pinakita. Ayan. Ayan. So, which variable is more dispersed? Explain your answer using at least 15 words. Ayan. Kapag ka po less than 15 words, babawasan ko po yung points nyo. Okay? Okay. Madali lang yan. 10 points lang po ang engaging activity. I will post the sheet kung saan po kayo magsusulat ng answer nyo sa engaging activity. Paki-check na lang po sa Google Classroom under classwork. Now, for the performance task, again, individual lang po ito. Based on the example above, we found out that the coefficient of variation for age is 9.70% and 32.87% for monthly income. Which variable is more dispersed and why? Explain your answer using at least 15 words, please. May please na. Kung nakinig kayo dun sa video kanina, nasabi ko na yung sagot dito. I-arrange nyo na lang siya in written form. So, pakisulat na lang po kung ano ang mas dispersed, and why? Take note, more dispersed, not more consistent. Ang tanong ko ay more dispersed. Mas nagkakalayo-layo. Okay? Okay. Thank you very much for listening to me for the entire 30 minutes. I will see you during the online discussion. I will send you the link na lang. Thank you very much for listening and have a good day. Bye!